Hello there. I'm Sue Johnson, welcoming you to Wake Up and Live with the Arts, along with James McGilbray, our videographer, and Lester H. Bryant Sr., who is in the studio, not with us, but at his studio, waiting to edit this wonderful piece that we are about to do with Stephon J Davis. Stephon, hi, honey.
Hey there.
It's been a minute since you've been a guest of ours. It's been a while. And then, of course, I was reading, I guess it was Facebook, promoting your newest venture, and you won an award. So it's been a while since we've seen you. So start filling us in on what in the world have you been up to, including the award-winning A Tale of Two Mothers.
So I think the last time I was here, we had won an award for the sit-in, and so I was promoting that one, talking about it a little bit. Since then, I've really been just working on this particular project. So it's been almost a year's journey, really, from that pre-production of that concept, like this is what I want to do. Okay, how can I do it? Let's make it happen. To the production that took several months, and then the post-production. And so we really have finally past that phase and moving into the distribution phase. And so it's really just been a long journey, but a really exciting one. And the project was really inspirational project, just really something that I enjoyed putting together. For me, I've done several films in the past, always focusing on some form of social justice,
right,
and humanitarian projects. And so for this one, of course, dealing with teen suicide and also bullying, it just really was something that I knew had to come forward. And I was just really proud of the final product as well as the people that were involved with it.
Okay, how did it happen that you got interested in the teen suicide and the bullying? And, when I was growing up, it was called teasing. They hadn't invented the word bullying yet. And I was out of teaching, so I missed the transference from teasing to bullying. So what made you get interested in that? Was it a personal experience or just what?
Well, first I was thinking when you said teasing and it changed names. Currently, right now, it's really called roasting a lot of times.
Oh, I had never heard that one.
Yeah, so when you talk about like teasing, the term now is roasting. And so bullying, really is a little more than just teasing and roasting. A lot of times, several factors involved between intimidation and terror and antagonizing, and just a constant making a person feel bad, feel afraid. All these different things are going on. And so definitely with the case of this film, it was more about terrorizing a person as opposed to just teasing them and picking them a little bit. But for me, myself, I would say it wasn't that I was being bullied myself or anything like that growing up. It was just more so I just see injustice throughout the world, and I just want to do my part and serve my purpose. And what can I do to bring awareness and provide prevention in that kind of aspect for me?
And this is a documentary?
Yeah, this is a documentary.
Was it shot here in Cleveland, or was it shot around locations?
Throughout Ohio, really. Throughout Ohio, there were two mothers involved. The two main mothers, one was in this area, urban area, and then the other one was more rural, southern Ohio. And so shot a lot of stuff throughout Ohio, but for the most part, all in Ohio, didn't really leave out the state for this particular project.
How long did it take you to shoot the entire project? Not the pre and not the post, but the actual shoot.
Getting interviews and gathering footage and B-roll. Yeah.
And about how long is the film itself, the video itself?
It's a little over an hour.
Okay, so it's easy to watch, maybe not emotionally, because you said both of the children in the story committed suicide.
They did, yeah.
And I have not recently, but I was not aware until a few years ago that bullying does end up in a lot of teen suicide. That it just destroys people's self-esteem. And I don't know what the schools are doing, if anything, and I don't know what parents are doing, if anything.
Tyree was very outgoing, high-spirited, very sociable, bubbly, had a huge, beautiful smile, very loving.
Caleb was a sweet kid. He was very sensitive, always had a smile on his face from as far back as I can remember.
He was outgoing, but he had a little anger issue.
He would come home from school almost daily crying.
They had cameras. And when he died, I asked them about his death, and they said they had no records.
They were in gym class and a kid went not a foot in front of him and threw a ball in his face. Kids were throwing food at him at lunch and pushing him into lockers.
Just because he didn't want to go home and face what they said they were going to do to come to his house and purge him. But nobody coming to his house and purge him, especially if I'm there.
We're talking about 11 and 12-year-old kids. Those kids are really the kids who are most at risk for contemplating suicide because of peer group interactions.
That was one of the issues, so much cyberbullying.
I wonder if part of him being so selfless was a perception of himself that he wasn't worth talking about.
The principal that suspended him in the police report during the investigation, she denies he was suspended.
Brother came up here after a couple of years of not coming, and I said, "You want to go?" He said, "Yeah." And he came up here, and I could see him just kind of talking to him and crying because they was like that.
So we went over and shook him. He didn't respond. He rolled him over, and that's when he seen what had happened.
It was during the funeral when they said it, so matter of fact, that it was just like, well, if they're saying it's a matter of fact here, then that's got to be, it's got to be what happened.
We got ice cream at 6 o'clock, and 3 hours later, I called 911 at 9:06.
So if we could do preventative guidance as our first tier and not just intervention, maybe it would stick for some kids, maybe it would just ease the school experience a little bit.
Sometimes just sending a quick text message saying, "How are you? Do you need anything? I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you." It's those type of things that makes us feel more connected.
So give them the attention, and they won't have to seek it. Give it to them. Put your phones down. Get off your computer. Stop trying to hang out with your friends. Pay attention to each other.
The goal of the Suicide Prevention Coalition is to reduce the number of completed suicides, as well as to decrease the symptoms and the risk factors for suicide.
As a parent, you don't ever think you have to talk to your children about harming themselves.
That you're streaming
Instagram live. So yeah, on Facebook and on Instagram, you can go live anytime, and people can see and chime in and have say questions, interact with you and things. So yeah.
So that's a technology that we don't have currently, but hopefully someday. We hope a lot.
Yeah, well, we all have it technically. As long as you have a phone, smartphone, you just
do it on there. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Now, with this particular documentary, how many folks were involved in the total project?
We had about 7 cast members in it, and then a few people in crew, just in and out and things with the crew.
Okay.
I mostly spearheaded the whole thing. A lot of times I'll try to get more people involved with projects and stuff, but with this one I just jumped in and just went full forward with it, whether I had people or not. I just made it all happen.
This was a
really.
passion activity for you. And we just had Christopher Johnston, who is another well-known he's a playwright, a director, an author, and he wrote a book called Shattering Silences. And this was similar. In fact, I'm going to send you his contact information. He wrote a similar concept in that his was about domestic violence and abuse and related, activities.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I did do a film on domestic violence one time, narrative more film. This was, being a documentary, this was a narrative film. But I would love to actually do another one as well, whether it be documentary or narrative style, but I would definitely like to do something more along those lines. Yeah.
And how, now my question is, I just forgot what it was going to be. How about that? How long have you been a filmmaker, videographer, and editor and all that?
It's been a transition from, so kind of like 10 years, maybe not longer than that, probably. Videography for sure. I mean, it's been at least 12 years, 13 years. I mean, I really got in at young, and I've been doing it for so many different years. When I went to school initially, I started actually going forward, video production and things. So
Did you go to Tri-C or somewhere
I made a
around
stop
here?
at Tri-C, went to Cleveland State, and even before I did all that, while I was in high school, I took a vocational course.
Okay.
So I was studying, TV production and things like that.
Here in Cleveland?
Yeah, that was actually, Parma technically, but yep, Cleveland.
Okay. Okay. And so what made you get interested in film and videography and all the aspects thereof?
Back then, when I was just a kid, it was just because I was actually in the band playing the saxophone, and some students came in with the camera, microphone, and interviewing our band instructor. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. Like, I see them with the camera and the microphone. Like, I want to do something like that.
And there you go.
It was really from there on.
Because I think I've known you almost since the early years.
Yeah,
off and on, we crossed paths. Now, this documentary, this won the award. Is that correct, or was it another?
That was the other film, The Sit-In.
The Sit-In. So tell us about that film and this one too, with your award-winning presentation. Yeah.
So The Sit-In was based on bullying, and it was actually, we won an award out in LA for that film. This film has been submitted to some festivals, but we haven't got to the point where they've found out who was going to win the awards and stuff like that yet.
Okay.
So I feel pretty positive we'll win some awards though once it comes around to it, but right now we don't know yet. With The Sit-In, like I said, that was out in LA, awareness festival, and they enjoyed what we did around bullying. That was a narrative film also. And so I think actually I may have like I said, I think that's the last one we talked about when I was here last.
Okay, yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. Now, tell us, for aspiring film actors and videographers, you entered your project into film festivals. How do you go about doing that for the folks who want to get involved, submitting their works of hopefully of the right quality to be considered by the festivals?
Well, it won't be easy for long, unfortunately. There's a website called Without a Box, withoutabox.com. I usually go there. I went on the website, they said they're getting ready to shut down, actually. I'm like, that's really unfortunate. But
you mean all the film festivals?
That service, Without a Box.
That service.
That service helps you get to all the different festivals around the world. And so once that shuts down, it might not be as easy. I'm sure there'll still be other sites that you can do, like Film Freeway is still one you can utilize right now.
Filmfreeway.com?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Without a Box. Currently, I think until next year, I forget the date, but they'll still be around up until next year, Without a Box. So either one of those sites you go to, just search for festivals and just upload your footage or send in screeners. And you have to pay a hefty fee sometimes, but
I was going to ask, is there a fee involved to
for
submit?
the majority of them? Yeah, there might be a few free ones, but usually about $50 per submission, roughly on average.
Yeah. Now, does this enter into the big boys, Sundance, Toronto, Cleveland Film Festival?
Yeah,
and all those guys.
Yeah, there's
all the way overseas to what's the one overseas? Oh dear,
Cannes.
Cannes. Yeah. So have you submitted to the big boys?
We were looking at CIFF. So there's a few more steps you have to put into for those. Sundance. The one I think we were submitting to was Toronto, I want to say. But yeah, there's a few extra steps. They require a little bit more, but it's all the same though. Yeah, you pay your fee and submit.
Do they bother to give you feedback if they do or don't accept your film, your entry?
99% don't really.
Okay, so it's just.
It's like, you get in or you don't, and that's just pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, it's not easy. And then, of course, you have to raise funds. So do you have a, quote, day job, or how do you go about getting your films and videos, Lordy, I speak English, videos financed? Because a lot of aspiring, filmmakers want to know, how do you do that?
Mostly clients from myself, like I do commercial work and promotional work and things like that, PSAs. So generally make money through those kind of processes working with clients. Also work part-time with the Ohio Media School teaching.
Oh, yes.
So that brings in some funds as well. So between those two avenues is the way I primarily, make the money to create films. Okay.
And then we also, like a lot of filmmakers, we also suggest things like, if you're able to have a, quote, clean credit card. And you hear so many stories about, the Steven Spielbergs of the world. I'm making that name up because I don't know that for a fact. But they just use up all their credit cards, getting their sometimes it pays off. Have you attracted any named stars to your projects yet, or are you still working on that aspect?
So actor-wise, like some actors that came on board?
Yeah, local or...
James, yeah.
James McGilbray's been in?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. Our videographer has been involved, and James McGilbray is making a name for himself in the film and commercial and the theater world, as well as with us at the Actors Studio. So now, what are you working on now, darling? Do you have a current project or something coming up?
So the next project I'm looking at might be another documentary, and it's interesting because up until this one, I haven't done a documentary in years. I did one on minority businesses. This was many years ago, and after that, I really focused mostly on narratives. But after this project, I have this urge to do more documentary work, and so I was looking at East Cleveland, possibly creating something.
Is it still in existence?
Barely.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cast aspersions on East Cleveland, but we know it's problematic.
Yeah. And so I just want to highlight some things going on. I think there are little things that are still good in the city that's happening. So
kernels of goodness.
So I'm trying to pull those out a little bit and just dive into the history, you know, that rich history of East Cleveland and things, and just see where we went wrong and what we can do to not repeat that.
The Rockefellers, I believe, were instrumental in developing what we know as East Cleveland. Now, I doubt if they still have property, but a great deal of East Cleveland was owned by the Rockefellers at one point.
Quite wealthy city, absolutely,
Yeah. So do you delve into their contributions or robber baron stuff or whatever it might be?
Not so much at the moment, no.
Now, how do we get now you said you were working on distribution. How is that going now? Are you having success, or do we want to have people contact you so that they can make arrangements to show it at their group meeting, conference, what have you?
Absolutely, yeah. They can go to my site or to Tug, because right now we're working with Tug. T-U-G-G is 2 G's, Tug. So you can actually request a community screening through my site or through Tug as well.
Okay, so, tug.com or?
Tug.com.
And then, of course, your own personal email is Stephon
J Davis at Gmail.
Okay.
You can go to my website to surlomedia.com.
What's the name of your website again?
Surlomedia.com.
Surlo?
Yep.
Spell that for us.
SERLO.
Okay.
Media.com.
Surlomedia.com.
And actually, there's a website for the film as well. So just go to atelmothers.com.
Oh, now this one has a www, a tale of two mothers.com. And do they, now these characters, or they're real people, do they have dialogue? Is it a voiceover, or is it they're on camera? How does that work?
Mostly on camera with a little bit of B-roll as well. But yeah, they're mostly on camera, giving interviews. We have experts talking, therapists, people that work with youth a lot. Lots of different people that chime in on the issues that are going on. Yeah.
By any chance, did you happen to talk to any teens who had contemplated or attempted suicide? Were you able to chat with any of those?
Not in the film, but I had some dialogue and conversations with some folks and things. And another person had reached out to me, but the film was already done at that point. But we still had a conversation as well. But yeah, so maybe for the next thing, we might be to get together and do some more work. But with this one, we weren't able to get the teens that had the situation.
Right. Plus, you would need release. Well, what am I telling you for? The releases and stuff to get them to do that. Well, we wish you, James McGilbray, one of the stars. What was he featured in?
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
That was a paid gig there. We did, All Lives Matter.
I did All Lives Matter.
Oh, a day of racism. Oh, well, that was.
So you have quite a filmography. And are you on IMBD yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another place they can look you up. I-M as in Mary, B as in IMDb. Oh, I had it backwards. Story of my life. I got everything backwards.
Internet Movie Database,
Yeah. So there are lots of ways to look him up. Is there? And then there's an email address to contact you directly. And what is that again?
Stephon J Davis at Gmail.
Okay, and Stephon is, we'll have that on the screen, but it's STEPHON, and then J, middle initial. What does that stand for?
Jerome.
Jerome. Okay. Stephon Jerome. Yes, J Davis. And Davis is Davis. Okay, so you've got a lot going on. I'm glad you had a few minutes to stop in here tonight and chat with us about your projects, because I'm duly impressed. And with the award that you won, was there a ceremony? What was the name of the award you won? The actual award?
Something awareness. I had the trophy at home. I can't remember exactly, but I know there was a ceremony. It was a big event, and actually I couldn't make it. It was in LA. I was just there not too long ago.
Okay.
So I had a friend that lives out there go to it and get the award for me. And he mailed it to me actually. So,
Oh, phooey. You missed your grand Hollywood.
Yeah. I missed it,
Well,
but
the next one.
time,
The next one, we'll get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Stephon. I look forward to having you back yet again with your future projects, and wish, as I started to say earlier, much continued success.
Thank you.
And who do you, let's say, admire or strive to be like in the filmmaking industry? Anybody in particular? Or
I have a lot of directors that I look up to, from Spike Lee to Stanley Kubrick, Christopher Nolan.
him I
David
don't
Lynch,
know. Yeah, I know him.
Fincher, just so
A whole
many.
bunch of. What is Spike doing these days? He doesn't do as much work as he.
Yeah, he just had a Netflix series on from one of his movies from the past. She's Gotta Have It. I think he connected with Jordan Peele on a project. Yeah, I think he was that the Klansman one. I think they did that together.
Could be.
He just did film KKK Klansman of some sort there.
Yeah. Well, again, you'll be in that stratosphere very soon, because locally you are well known, and we will get you known regionally and nationally before it's all over.
Yeah, I'll come back with the Academy Award, bring it on the table here and set it down.
I want a ticket to the front row of the Academy Awards when you win. I knew him. I interviewed him on the show, and eventually when we get a whole crew of filmographers and videographers, we can afford you too. So thanks a lot, hun. I'm glad you were able to join us this evening. Glad you were able to join us this evening as well. So we want to thank you for watching another edition of Wake Up and Live with the Arts. And as we love to say on Wake Up and Live with the Arts, be sure